Hello and welcome everyone to our health webinar. My name's Lisa Sauer. I am a registered nurse, and as we begin tonight, I'd like to have you all consider something. When we talk about health, we generally think about disease. We generally think about those conditions that most people have, or that have got something going on. But there are more and more people in today's society, and they're suffering from really low energy states, poor or disrupted sleep. They're suffering from anxiety or mood disorders. The list goes on. And a lot of people just consider those sorts of things to be a part of the process of aging. Well, we now know that is not the case, and that's actually what we call suboptimal health. What we can do, though, is hear about some amazing information tonight about a natural health product, which helps us on the path for optimal health. Now, I will put in the company disclaimer. We do not claim to treat, prevent, cure, or mitigate disease, because what we're talking about is a natural health supplement and not a pharmaceutical. Our bodies are absolutely amazing. We are so capable of healing and looking after ourselves when we're given the right tools. And tonight is about some information which are what I consider the #1 health tool for optimal health. So it's with great, great pleasure that I get to introduce you all tonight to LindaMcCormick. Linda is an amazing lady. She is an international teacher, speaker, a natural health researcher specializing in colon hydrotherapy and reflexology. She is a mum of 2 and a grandmum of 3, and she looks amazing, FYI. She is passionate about helping others live with optimal health, and she is super grateful for LifeVantage being a part of her life for the growth that she's had and the experience she's received. So please make Linda very welcome, and thank you very much for coming in, spending some time with us, Linda.
Lisa, I love you all down there, and I am privileged to be here. So if you can hear me okay, but I told Lisa earlier that the glow behind me is not an angelic glow. It's the lighting in my lower level this morning, because it is just, the sun's just rising here in Ohio, where I live in the eastern part of the US. But I am blessed to be here, and let me quickly say that I'm deeply humbled to be asked to be on this, because I'm not a medical licensed professional, at least in the US, and I don't know how it is in Australia, but colon hydrotherapy is a certified profession. And I'll tell you a little bit of how I got into that, because growing up, I had a grandmother who died of cancer. And I can remember as a little girl at 12 years old thinking, if I could find the cure for cancer, how wonderful would that be? And I think all of us have lost loved ones, and we all look for truth. And that reminds me of the amazing talk that Madeline did last Wednesday. I tuned in on that just to see how you were running these. And I love what she said about being drawn to the truth, because who of us wants to be drawn to lies or to not find true things? So truth, integrity, solid foundations, that's what I'm all about. Though I am not medically trained, I have been looking for truth in health circles my whole life. And that took me over to Asia, where I lived in Hong Kong and Taiwan, and I was back and forth a few times living in different places in those countries. Over 20 years being over there as a missionary teacher. And I got very, very sick at one point. And thankfully, I was on the side of the globe where there were more natural approaches. So that fueled my passion when I landed on natural things, with the acupuncture, reflexology, which I also then studied when I came back to the US, and herbs. And I just started understanding the body is made to heal if we give it the right things. And coming back to the US after 20 years abroad, you get off the plane in the US, and I don't think it's this way in Australia, but you look at how sick people look, how morbidly obese Americans are generally. And I'm like, what in the world? And I just felt God leading me to do something with the information that I had learned, because truly I'd been bedridden for about 6 months. I had 2 little boys, a husband that was traveling all the time, and I hit rock bottom. And I got well through natural means. And I like to say the super and the natural together. I had friends praying for me. And I just feel like I got answers in the natural world that helped me to recover. So I'm very passionate about what I do. And people think, yeah, Linda, you have to be crazy, because I tell people I like feet and colons, okay? I like to get to the bottom of things. And so that has driven the passion, Lisa, for why I do what I do now at almost 62 years old, because I feel better than I did when I was in my mid-30s, to be honest. So. Wait, I can't hear you, Lisa.
I'm sorry. I'm muted at my end in case you heard my background family noise going on. You do not look 62 at all. Wow, you're doing so incredibly well. So with all of that understanding and your own personal experience with natural therapies, and obviously with the studies that you've then gone on and done, is that where you heard about oxidative stress first, or was oxidative stress something that you had been introduced to purely through LifeVantage?
Oh my goodness, no, just through LifeVantage, because so I set up a wellness center here in Ohio, and I had colon hydrotherapy going, massage therapists coming in, naturopaths speaking. We had herbs, we had products. I did the reflexology, the foot detox, ion cleanse, detox foot baths. And it wasn't until 7 years ago that my acupuncturist, Michael Vahila is his name, and he's re-engaged back in the business. But at first he just shared this with me, and he was so calm about it. But I went to him, Lisa, because I had gone through a lot of life changes, as far as I went through a very hard divorce. Coming back to the US, my whole world had turned upside down. And though I was established in my little wellness center, and that was going really well, my dad was dying, my mom with Alzheimer's, and Michael, I hit bottom again, not as bad as I was before, but I had no energy, and I was eating right and doing things right, but that emotional component, and mostly women are on this call, and I would say that I think that's where most of us feel the stress the greatest, is in that emotional place in our life. So I hit bottom, and I went to Michael for an acupuncture treatment, and he said, you know, I've been researching this little blue bottle of pills, and you might want to check into it. And I said, I'll buy one right now. Because like you, Lisa, and this is what I don't get, you people that are trained medically, if someone recommends something from your credentials, I'm like, I'm in, because I am not that medically trained researcher person. I am a pragmatist. I want something that works. And Michael just had to give it to me. And I trusted his research because he has tried a lot of things. And I said, sure, I'll try it. And my story is in 3 days. I didn't even see the ABC investigative report. I didn't know how it worked. I just knew if Michael said, you might want to try this because I've been researching it and it looks good. And in 3 days, it's like I rose from the dead. I got energy. I was sleeping better. Everything was starting to go up quickly. And I thought everyone would have my story. So foolishly, I started sharing this with people and said, guess what happened to me? And it didn't happen like that for everyone. But all that to say, I did not understand oxidative stress. I trusted the person who shared it with me. And that's why I would say to anybody on this call, if Lisa Sauer, as a registered nurse, is willing to put her license on the line as a nurse to say, this is a fabulous product, I would say she's worth listening to, even if you don't listen to me, a crazy lady who likes to clean out colons. Okay. So that's all I knew at that point.
Wow. So that was an incredible amount of trust that you had, but you obviously had that relationship with him. And like you said, you knew that he was big on the research side of things. So you just had that ability to trust him, and look at the amazing results you got. You know, and energy is not a small thing. Energy is a big key component of health for most people. So that's amazing. And so that's how you became aware of the oxidative stress process. So why do you now know, obviously you've done a lot more study, you've been with the company for an incredible amount of time. So can you explain to everybody why we have oxidative stress?
Okay, well, I like to think of it as rusting from the inside out. So we all know the term well, we know stress, but the oxidation process in our bodies literally is like rusting. So if you picture a car left out in the rain and open to decay, that oxidation process goes on. And or we use the thing of cutting open an apple, and once an apple is exposed to oxygen, that oxidation process starts. Now, I would like to be quick to say that a little bit of oxidation is going to happen with us as living beings. In fact, that gets into the whole idea of anti-aging. I don't even like to use the word anti-aging, because if I'm not aging, I'm dead, okay? But if I am aging, I want to do it well, and I want to keep that oxidation process in balance. And the only way I can do this is with what I believe is a NRF2 activator, because it's going to go in and affect every cell in my body. And this is what's so huge. I can't tell a person how it's going to kick in or when it's going to show up as affecting them. I just know that it's going to be like that picture we use of when the house is on fire. Sometimes we say it's like putting a Dixie cup on when you could turn on a fire hose. I like to say it's like turning on the internal sprinkler system to activate the NRF2 pathway, NRF2 pathway in every cell in our body, so that we will be able to produce this huge amount, this huge outlay of antioxidant enzymes, which will gobble up that stress, that rust that is going on in your body. It might be in your pancreas, because you have people in your family with pancreatic diabetes, whatever. In my family, it could be heart disease. But I know after 7 years of seeing the results, the stories, that it's going to go after wherever that rust is decaying an organ or a system. And it's going to be working in every cell of my body. So my internal sprinkler system has been on for 7 years now. Plus, I also look out after my diet and things like that. But it's all about aging well, not anti-aging, but aging well. And I'm very grateful that I was able to get onto this NRF2 activation, because oxidative stress is everywhere and with everyone.
Absolutely. You know, I often see in practice, you know, there are certain conditions that are elevating in their occurrence, and we know that it's the world that we're living in. Well, oxidative stress is quite literally the reason, isn't it? Literally everything we do in our modern world contributes to a higher rate of oxidative stress in the body, which is crazy. So why don't doctors know about this?
That is a great question, Lisa. And that takes me to the site pubmed.gov. And this is what the confusing thing is here in the US. So pubmed.gov is the National Institute of Health website. And when I started with this company 7 years ago, there were like 110,000 studies on oxidative stress. It was an up and coming topic that was being researched. And now there's like 180,000 studies. So it is the focus in many medical and scientific circles. So in the US, why don't doctors recommend NRF2 activation or understand even oxidative stress? Because why would they recommend something for something they aren't taking the time to research themselves? By and large, here in the States, the pharmaceutical companies, the medical schools, the insurance companies are all locked in together. And I'm sorry to say, but it's more about money making and fueling one another as a business, and not about getting to the root of disease, because that's what we know oxidative stress is. That's what PubMed points to. And you can find studies on every disease known to man on oxidative stress, and see the thousands of studies that are going on. So it makes no sense other than it's tied to the almighty dollar. And so we have a chance, as even me as a non-medical person, to go in and see those studies and to be part of a company that puts everyone on an even playing field, that we can access these products. I don't have to go to a pharmaceutical version of this, which there are now, because they are getting onto it somewhat, but it comes in a pharmaceutical form, which has, as you know, side effects. To be a drug, there are going to be side effects. So that's my long answer. But again, if I go to my doctor and say, how can I reduce my oxidative stress? They will, most of them here won't have a clue what I'm talking about. But what we're finding is when we share this with people and they want to take their bottle of Protandim, which I have right here in my drawer, we say, take this to your doctor and ask, would it be a good thing for me to reduce my oxidative stress? And again, if they don't know if they aren't keeping up with the research and they don't even know what oxidative stress is, I say go find another doctor, because it's all over the scientific and medical world, if they'll take time to look at their own resources. Crazy.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's such a key, I call it the future of health and wellness. It's that exciting. Okay, so we know you mentioned a lot of human studies, but we know, because we've got that main research paper that proves conclusively we can reduce that oxidative stress an average of 40% in 30 days. Now, we know that was the conclusion for all mammals, don't we? So what have you, what's your experience with animals and oxidative stress?
Great question, because I love the fact that if you give this to a dog, they don't know. There's no chance for them to have that placebo effect, you know, because some people say, oh, it's just in your mind. You're just imagining it. Giving it to dogs, giving it to horses, all over YouTube, you can find dog on Protandim, horse on Protandim. And I've had the experience of working with Amish. I have a lot of Amish on my team. I think some of you call them Amish, or I don't know if you even know what they are, but they're very simple folk. Do you even have Amish in Australia? I can't imagine that they're down there. Okay. But they have a lot of animal stories, and it's just amazing what can happen. So yes, and yes. This works on every mammal known to man, and the results are incredible, because there's one of my favorites, a dog that had a hip dysplasia and arthritis, and within days, weeks, this pill puts that dog in a place of being active again and able to run around. And I don't have an animal, but I only see my friends who spend thousands of dollars on veterinary bills for their animals. And I'm like, this can work so much better and get to the root of the problem. And so, yes, animals are really being benefited. We even have some people who work on farms, and they are feeding it to their beef, their cows, and without the risk of putting the hormones or drugs into the milk. They're saving so much money, because they're naturally helping their cows when there's an issue to produce the milk that they need, and without polluting that milk with the chemicals of the drugs. So this is becoming a huge deal here among our Amish community and working with animals.
That is so exciting. And like you said, animals don't understand a placebo. So that little pill that you hid in the sausage that they swallowed in one go, they have no idea what that's supposed to do for them. They just know they feel better. I love it. And it works so much faster in animals as well, doesn't it?
Yes.
Results.
Yes.
Awesome. And so, okay, so now I really want to hear the answer to this question. So we know that you like to work with the colon and feet. How are you seeing this as it relates to what you do?
Well, Lisa, okay, so literally I like to get to the bottom of things. I'm a pragmatist. I don't like to waste people's money. And if anyone on here is thinking this is a money scheme, this is not about the money. This is about getting to the root cause and helping people turn their lives around as quickly as possible and without spending a cajillion dollars. And so when people come to me and they understand my passion, my main MO is to explain to them that I have a few tools in my belt. One is the whole process of helping them detox, because I personally, in my work with people, I've narrowed it down to one disease. There can be all kinds of names for diseases, but there is only one problem with our bodies, and that is cellular malfunction. When the cells start malfunctioning, it's because of lack of nutrients getting to the cells and too much toxicity within the cells, which then multiplies into the tissues and into organs. So when people come to me, we'll just go for the colon therapy. They're toxic. Their colons aren't releasing the waste, and that's recirculating in their systems. There's symptoms of headaches, skin outbreaks, just lethargy, all kinds of issues going on. And what I explain to them is that's going to do that one piece of helping their cells. That's going to help the detox process. But I can't go with them to the store and buy healthier food and keep them from eating fast food 3 times a day, which is the typical American diet. And I also say I want to I let them watch the ABC video and show them this little pill, the little yellow pill, because what this can do, especially as they're cleaning out their colon, to start rebuilding their bodies one cell at a time. So what I've been able to do, again, in getting to the root of the problem, detoxing and then rebuilding, I have seen amazing and quick turnarounds if they will just get cleansed and on this product, and even just on this product, the migraines disappear. The gut health improves greatly with or without the colonic, because this takes care of anything with itis, as you know, colitis, diverticulitis. In fact, I won't give a colonic to someone who has a diagnosis of diverticulitis, because that means that itis, that means their bowels are inflamed, and I don't want to start running water through that to cleanse until they've been on this at least for 1 month to calm things down and they have a sense of more comfort down there. Then we can start the detox process. But it's so inflamed at points that, and with Crohn's disease, celiac people, it takes so much work. They can't just change their diet. They can't just get a colonic. They have to have something to bring the fire down. And there is nothing better, from my experience, than this. Of course, you all can't get our good probiotic down there yet, but when I can do that 1-2 punch with this bringing down the fire, and then the probiotic to help rebuild the friendly bacteria, and they change their diet, miracles happen a day at a time. Now, I want to tell you one story, a recent story with a guy with Crohn's disease, 42 years old. He's had sections of his colon already cut out. And he was referred to me by a new distributor of mine who, this was her dad's boss, and they've been talking to everybody about this product. And so he called me, and he has been bleeding. His hemoglobin count was way down. They're thinking of another surgery. I said, Tom, I said, give me a chance. He's had Crohn's ever since, Lisa. He started on a drug for his acne when he was 18 years old. He blames that. At that point, the drug was Accutane. And at that point, his colon health started to get very, very bad. And I'm telling you, the leaky gut that is going on today, from all the drugs that are being willy-nilly dispensed for whatever issue, lots of antibiotics, anything that's a drug, it causes some porousness in the gut, which is that leaky gut syndrome. And so I said, Tom, I beg of you just to try this and see what happens. His energy was super low. I also got him onto the Axio, which I know you can't get, as just a drink that would quickly be bioavailable to him, because he says, Linda, he says, I'm scared I'm going to pass this pill through my stool. It's not going to get absorbed. I said, it will. Trust me, it will. So this guy with severe Crohn's disease, they're ready to cut more of his colon out. In 1 week, I checked back with him and he said, Linda, my energy is amazing. And he said, what I'm doing is cutting the pill in half. He takes half a pill and then another half a pill. 30 minutes later, he said, it's staying in me. There's nothing coming out. I'm absorbing it. I'm feeling better, sleeping better. I could go out with my family. He has 2 young children. And then the Axio in the afternoon gives him a boost. He told me this week, so he's been on it a month, he went back to his doctor. His hemoglobin count has gone up like 2 points. And he said that hasn't happened in months. So he's headed the right direction. And I said, Tom, your body is healing itself. All it needed was some support to calm down the fire. Crohn's is a very, very horrible, horrible situation. So that's just one story out of many. But and as you know, gut-brain connection is huge. And so if your brain's starting to have brain fog or whatever, look at the gut, look at how your gut is working. And I know of nothing better, and I want to quickly show you. Here are 2 other Nerve2 activator products that are out there. So in other words, and I know our time's passing quickly, but I have to throw this in. I have a naturopath friend. And so I stand on the shoulders of other people who do the assessments and know a lot more than I do. And I had introduced my friend, my naturopath friend, to Protandim years ago. And she says, oh, it's, I don't like network marketing. I don't want to do it that way. I just want to buy it direct from the company, blah, blah, blah. And so she went with another product like this one or like this one. And whereas she was seeing amazing results with the Protandim, for her autoimmune patients, she said, Linda, as soon as I tried these, I didn't see the change in the blood slide, you know, because she would put a drop of a person's blood on the microscope and look at the blood, and she watched the change. She watched her own blood change within days of this product. Oxidative stress balls that she could see in the blood started disappearing. And so she tried to do this one just because it was a more of a wholesale retail kind of way she could purchase it. And she said, Linda, the blood slides didn't change and people's symptoms didn't go away like they do with this. So she puts up with the aspect of how we, you know, market this product, because this one does it. These don't work. And there were no studies on them either. So that's my story. I'm sticking with it. The proof is in the pudding. You know, life is in the blood. And so this is the product that reduces that oxidative stress component. What's our next question?
I love that. And the thing is, like you said, you know, we're onto something big. And so there are going to be more nerve-2 activators coming to market. But I really find, from a health professional's point of view, the fact that we've been in use in humans since 2005, that is very reassuring. You know, like you said, our results are amazing. They don't even come close to these other products, but we've been as a long-term use in humans for that amount of time. So I think that's really, really crucial information as well, and really good to know. All right, so when it comes to interactions, obviously, you know, it's always that recommendation to check the ingredients with the pharmacist, but what else do you have to add with that, with regards to that?
With interactions, as far as with, okay, well, what I find is, okay, so if there has been organ transplants with the anti-rejection medications, we don't encourage that. What we do encourage is, again, if you want to go to your doctor or pharmacist and say, would it be a good thing for me to reduce my oxidative stress? Then show them this. Most of them will look at the ingredients and say, it won't hurt. But if they're very, very close-minded, they'll say, stay away from any herbs at all. So, but as far as interactions go, I've seen nothing negative. There are some sensitivities with cancer treatments, if you're taking chemo or whatever. And then there's other stories where people have taken this, you know, double or triple dosing this through their cancer experience and had fabulous results. So it really, you do have to, in a way, become your own doctor and do your research, or have people that are on your team that you're listening to. But I can't say that there's any bad interactions. And with children as well, even though the bottle may say not safe for children, we have so many children's stories of those on the spectrum that are having fabulous results. Some, their moms grind it up, pour it on their pancakes, put syrup on, and they take it. And within 2 weeks, this autistic child was talking, was not pooping his pants, was not banging his head. He was starting to act more normal. I mean, these are miracle stories, one day at a time, one pill at a time. So.
Perfect. And I guess at the end of the day, I mean, the bottle may say not for pregnancy or children, and that is just purely because we just don't have the studies to back that, you know. And of course, there's ethical and dollar factors involved in that. But I know personally that my 3 children all take it. Let's face it, we do not live in the same world our grandparents and parents did. They're like glued to iPads and mobile devices and computers, and they've got Wi-Fi and the schools and things like that. And we know all of that increases our oxidative stress. So heck yes, every single one of my guys takes it. It's not happening any other way. All right, awesome. So off the back of that, is it a magic pill?
No, the magic is in how our bodies have been made to heal themselves if given the right things. So no, it's not a magic pill. No claims on that.
Absolutely. Awesome. And so obviously you mentioned the probiotic as being that 1-2 punch that you're massively passionate about. And is there anything else that you would suggest other than a good probiotic and your Nerve2? What other supplements do you talk about when it comes to health with your clientele?
Well, I'm glad you asked, because, and there can be room for different opinions in this. Last week, I know Madeline mentioned that she doesn't take other supplements. Because of my background, and I was bedridden, I had dysentery, amoeba, salmonella poisoning multiple times in my experience living overseas. I have a weak gut. from all the meds that they gave me to kill the amoeba, whatnot. And so I am more of a, I'm not a cookie cutter consultant when it comes to just give everybody Protandim and you'll never need anything else. Here in Ohio, we need extra vitamin D. I recommend vitamin D3 for everyone. I recommend fish oil for everyone, and we have a fabulous one that I know isn't available to you yet. But fish oil comprises a component that we just need more of, especially the omega-3s, but it has omega-7, and I had never heard of omega-7, things like that. So I recommend our fish oil, like you said, the probiotic. I recommend a full spectrum mineral vitamin support, not because I think this isn't great, but I liken it, Lisa, to the fact of if I'm building a house and the lumber is there, the brick is there, all of the pieces are there, I need something to put it all together. I see the vitamins, the minerals as the pieces of those parts that things have to be activated so it works better. So if you don't take a supplement, this is going to work 40% of the time. But if you do take supplements, you're supplementing what you aren't getting in your foods. And if you're not eating a healthy diet, you're lacking certain nutrients that I consider the building blocks for your body. And so depending on where you are in your levels, and different blood tests can work with that. But I myself am on a good multivitamin mineral supplement, and I take that, my D3, as I mentioned, and a couple other small things, but primarily iodine. I take an iodide supplement, and then my package with my Nerf 1, Nerf 2, probio, and fish oil. That's what I do.
Amazing. That's awesome. So in Australia, we've got a pricing of around $59 per month for the bottle. Would you consider that to be a reasonable price?
For what it delivers, again, as you heard me say earlier, my passion is to keep costs low for people. So it's like giving you insurance. I mean, here in the States, you go to the doctor, your co-pays, even if you have insurance, whatnot, you calculate that over time of what it costs when your body breaks down, and that makes a $59 bottle a month a great investment. It's kind of like your car. When you bought a car, you never thought, well, I'll just put gas in, I'll never take it in to be serviced, I won't put any money into maintaining my car. How long would your beautiful new car last? And so yes, I am maintaining my health, which will help me maintain my wealth, because your health is your greatest wealth. And so at the risk of my body breaking down prematurely, I think $59 a bottle a month is an excellent investment in you, in anyone that's on this call tonight.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. I think you're 100% on the money there. Now, finally, just to wrap it up a little bit tonight, and thank you so much for your time. I know we are a little bit, heading towards that time limit. So can you explain a little bit as to why you became a distributor and a bit of your business story?
Okay, so as a colon therapist, reflexologist, I had a nice flow of people coming to me. And I feel as when I've received information, to me, that is something that you pass on when you found it helpful. And that's the model of this company. When this product was sitting on store shelves in the US years ago, nobody was hearing about it. Bottles don't talk. And this is a process of educating people that they have better options. When this sat beside vitamin C on a store shelf, and they were both called antioxidants, no one was explaining that the vitamin C is a direct antioxidant. It won't do nearly what this one will do to turn your body on to make its own. So Lisa, as you know, there's a huge education component, and that's mainly what we are as educators. I am not a salesman. I educate people to give them choices for better outcomes. And so I chose to be a distributor within 3 days after starting it, because I had such a phenomenal result and thought, who in my world needs to know that? Well, everybody needs the choice to say yes or no. And so I would say to everybody, please don't think of it as if you're in, you have to work this 40 hours a week. I have been working with this beside this other work that I do that I also love. And it's a tool. It's a tool in my tool belt to share with people the product, and some are looking for a side hustle because they're low on funds and they want something that will be of benefit to others. So yes, in 7 years, I've been able to gain a significant income and have so much fun along the way and meet so many wonderful people like you all. This has grown exponentially because it's not about me. It's about just putting the information out there. It's a ripple in the water. And so I am so grateful I said yes. So people listening to this call, you can say yes to this full-time and sharing this full-time, yes, part-time, anytime, because it's a tool to share with others that will change the outcomes of their life in a positive way. So yes, and the fact that my business, my home-based business recently was shut down because of an anonymous letter that was sent. Someone said something negative about me and that I should be investigated. So I have not received money from my home-based business for 4 months now. I dug a well before I was thirsty, never believing that I would be shut down. And this has been my income source, which is about 3 or 4 times more than my home-based business source. I've had this money coming in. And I say it's just wisdom to have multiple streams of income coming in. So I would encourage anybody to consider this, to become a distributor, because you get to try the products, experience, hear the stories, and have a tool to share with others, whether you do it on the side or it becomes a full-time passion. So it's been awesome. I've loved the journey because it's a growth process disguised as a business.
I love that. They're perfect words. A growth process disguised as a business. That is perfect. I think that would be the experience that everybody has had inside of this industry. And yes, you're so very right. Multiple income streams just make sense. That's perfect. Well, thank you so much for your time tonight. And I'm sure that everybody has received such an incredible amount of information and a lot of validation. Obviously, you have seen so much occur. Like we've said all the way along, we don't claim to treat, prevent, cure, or mitigate disease, but we do know the incredible power of the human body. And when the human body is given a powerful tool like this, especially one that's so natural, we are so capable of healing ourselves. I think that's brilliant. Thank you so much for your time, Linda, and I'll say good night. And thank you all for being on the call tonight.
Thank you, Lisa. I enjoyed it. Take care.
Bye. Thank you.